Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump.
And welcome to another edition of Tough Talk with Coach P. I, of course, am your man, Coach P, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Today's episode is Legacy over Ego, the flip side of Daddy Ball. Legacy over Ego, the flip side of Daddy Ball. Last week, we talked about Daddy Ball and how ego often gets in the way of true development. This week, we're going to flip the script. We're going to talk about when dads, in my opinion, do it the right way, when they prioritize legacy over their own ego, they put a plan in place and they stick to the plan, follow it, and that plan bears fruits. Remember, we talked about you're only as good as your system. Today's guest really understands that it's about building a true foundation, not necessarily by trying to control outcomes, but by putting a system in place that assures a foundation of work ethic, integrity, perseverance, and resilience. So today we're diving into the flip side of Daddy Ball and what it looks like when a father leads with legacy in mind.
The Standard is a youth mentorship program empowering young men ages 8 to 14 through athletics, personal growth, and structured guidance. Built on the values of discipline, teamwork, and integrity, The Standard connects sports with life lessons to help participants develop confidence, leadership, and strong character on and off the field.
You are listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. Real conversations with real accountability. Catch us every Monday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All right, welcome back to Tough Talk with Coach P. Of course, I am your man, Coach P, and I've got a special guest here. Last week, we talked about Daddy Ball and how Daddy Ball is killing our sport. Well, this week, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to show the other side of that. You know, a guy that I think is doing it the right way, that has an athlete that actually is getting the quan. You understand what I'm saying? So he's getting the social media attention, but he's also putting in the work and he's also doing it on the field. So it starts at home. It starts with the parents. So Sean Scales, thank you for coming on the show. How is everything? Again, I'm just pleased to have you on here. What's going on with you, brother? How is everything?
No, Coach P, it's a pleasure. I truly appreciate you having me on this show. I love what you do with the platform. And so just being here to talk about things that is super prevalent to what's going on in today's world of youth sports and stuff like that is really cool. So, no, I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about you, man. Tell me a little bit about your background. I've been watching you from afar for a while, and you're one of the guys that I believe do it right. Back in the day, I had a little stud myself, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't all this stuff available like is around. So tell me a little bit about your background, your journey a little bit. Tell our listeners.
Yeah, man. So for me, I'm a football guy, but I played multiple sports. I did track, baseball, I did all those things. So I'm the oldest of three, and then the thing is, like, my father wasn't around. So my father's actually back in my life. He had to go sit down for some time, and so he's back in my life. And so it's one of those things where I had to do a lot on my own, but I felt that it molded me, whether it's through sports, but just in life in general, whether it's in the classroom, as it is now as an entrepreneur, just things like that just helped get me to this point that I'm at. But either way, so I grew up from Los Angeles. I grew up in Gardena, played all my youth football in Inglewood, and then played high school ball at Losing High School in Lawndale. And then after that, graduated, went to San Diego State, did receiver for a year there. And just everyone asked like what happened. It's just for me, like, I didn't have a lot of financial support. So it's one of those things where I feel like, man, I need to find a way to like start making money. So while I was at school, man, I was working like 2-3 jobs while in college. And then I just had to make something to shake. And eventually that stopped that. And I just started working and things of that nature. And then eventually met my kid's mom and out there in San Diego. And things were great. We got married. Had our own kids, and so my life became San Diego, and it was just like that's just what I thought was going to be where I was going to retire for the rest of my life. And I love San Diego, but now my current state, especially with my son, I felt that there were bigger opportunities for us to play football outside of San Diego, and so for the past like 2 years, going on 3, we've been traveling, and we've been traveling from San Diego to Corona, or now in Orange County, and so we've been doing that drive 4 to 5 times a week, and it just got too much. So it's like, hey, we know where we want to get, what the end goal is, and so it's one of the decisions we made. Like, hey, we're just going to take this trip to Orange County, relocate, and now we're here.
Definitely. Now, you and I had a conversation previously about seeing your son out there, man. It is, I mean, is amazing.
thing. Yeah.
Just seeing the drive that he has, seeing the way that he works, seeing how meticulous he is at the age that he is very, very impressive. And I asked you, I was like, man, what are you doing where you don't have to force him to come out here? He looks like he wants to be here. And you said something interesting to me about how it was at first. And I want you to tell our listeners how it was at first and based on how it is now, so people can understand the dynamic of this thing.
Yeah. So that's the big thing with this whole relationship I have with Valor. And as I tell people, I noticed from him very early that he was special. And I was like, it was like little incidents that he did as a 1-year-old, where it's like, man, like his coordination, he should not be doing these things. And so just like little things like that, like always let me know he was gifted in some sort of fashion. And I just took it around with it, started training him earlier too. But what I always tell people, because everyone asks me, especially now today, like, how did he get so good? What are you doing? And things like that. As I tell everyone, I started him extremely early. I started him on his 2nd birthday. That's what I always told, like when he was a baby, I said, hey, you enjoy your baby years, because once you turn 2, we're going. And it was simple as that. On his 2nd birthday, we were doing ladder drills, and I was not turning that down. But the biggest thing is that I programmed and conditioned him into what he does today. But as I tell everybody, my biggest thing is I never gave him a choice. That's like what I always tell everyone, is that I did not give my son a choice on what he wanted to do. Because like the biggest thing, and a lot of people, and this could rub some people the wrong way, because I know that it has, like when everyone asks, like, what do you do? And I tell them, I didn't give them a choice. And they're like, how do you get them to train? How do you get them to work out?
This tough talk, man. This is tough talk. So we gonna keep it all the way 100, man. Go ahead.
It has to be. Fire, man. Yeah, like it has to be. People, they would ask me, how does he, like, what do you do? And as I told, like, I never gave him a choice. And then people would look at me weird, like, what are you talking about? Now you sound like this overruling dad or something like that. And no, it's not necessarily, I'm not giving him a choice and I'm being mean and stuff like that. It's just at an early age in kids' lives, kids don't know any better. They can't make choices on their own. They barely can decide at an early age which shoe goes on the right foot. So it's just, for me, it was more so, if I don't give, because as I tell people, if you give your child a choice on whether or not, hey, do you want to go work out today? 9 times out of 10 is going to be no. Like, I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go train. They don't want to do these things that require effort, that require exhaustion. They don't want to do it. And so a lot of parents, and now we live in this soft culture nowadays where parents are scared to tell their kids to actually go do something and stuff like that. They're afraid of, like, oh, I'm pushing them too much and this and the other. And it's like, as I said, you need to mold these boys and young girls into this. Like, and as I said, for me, I was just always shaping and molding him. It's like, if I don't give him a choice and I'm programming him into, like, hey, this is your daily routine. This is what we do. And this is how we operate daily. I'm getting them on the sense like a D1 police program, in which, like, now this is, as I tell everybody, like, it's, everyone sees the result where we're at today, and we're so far from where we got to go. Like, our journey is, we have such a long way to go, but are we light years ahead of everyone? Yes. And it's just simply due to the hours that we put in prior to, but it was never easy. As I tell everyone, when we first started, again, he was 2 years old. He was 2.5. He did not want to do anything. It was a fight. It was a struggle every single day. It's yelling back and forth. He's telling me no. And it was just like, but it was one of those things where I wasn't going to stop. I'm not, like, he doesn't want to do it. He just woke up from a nap and he like, what am I out here doing ladder drills for? Like, again, through repetition, doing it every single day, it got to the point that he knows this is what I do. This is who I am. Like, I wake up, I have breakfast, I go to school, I come home, I do my homework, and I train. I gotta go work out now. And it's like one of those things where he wants to work out because now he's at an age where he knows he's getting better, to where he's proud of his accomplishments. And every time we work out, we have the conversation, the back and forth. How'd you do today? So every practice, every workout, like we trained earlier today, and I always ask him, like, so how do you feel you did today? Like, it's not one of those things like we get in the car and I'm yelling at him. Like, there's moments that we have those days if we both know he had that kind of day. Yeah, but majority of the time we get in the car, and then so I ask him with simple tone, calm tone, like, how'd you do today? And he could have had a really bad day. And it's one of those, but I'm not going to bark at him, but like, how'd you do today? And he's now at an age where he can self-assess, like, hey, like, this is what I did today. I did this good. And so as I, like, he has to always tell me something that he did good and something that he did bad that he needs to work on. And if he needs to give me both. And so like, okay, what'd you do today? And like today, he said, I did good today. I threw pretty good today. And I'm like, okay, so what do you need to work on? And he can tell me like, hey, I got to work on snapping my wrists more, whatever his coaches are telling him that he needs to focus on. So that way he can, again, self-assess, go back, we can talk about it, and then next training, things that to work on. But again, to get to that point, it was not something that happened overnight. And again, it was just a matter of like, hey, this is what we've done for the past 6 years, 5 to 6 days a week. Like, he did not have a choice. Like, hey, like, when you get out of school, we're going to go work out. And a lot of people think that you have to work out for 3 hours a day. No, just an hour a day is enough. Like, it's getting him out there. It's doing this over and over. And so typically that's how we're training. It's one of those things where I no longer have to force him to do it.
I'm going to tell you something. That part of it is half the battle. One thing that with my son that, when we talked about it, his thing was he really enjoyed, and this is going to sound crazy, the workout, the practice, the camaraderie. He enjoyed that more than the actual game. So when it was game time, the game was easy to him,
right?
Because he trained so hard during the week and he enjoyed the hard stuff. And that's what I tell young football players now. If you're really trying to get on the other side of this thing, you have to definitely enjoy the things that are hard, right? You have to enjoy practice. You got to enjoy running. You got to enjoy lifting weights. You have to enjoy those things, or find a way to find joy in those things so that you can get where you're going. So here's the thing too, right? Because you guys train very hard. I know you yourself train hard. I train hard, so I know how that is. And I know for me, I couldn't do any of the stuff that I'm doing now with the standard, even with the football stuff, with the podcast, with the book, all that stuff. I couldn't do it without my wife. So I'm going to say this. How has that dynamic been? Has there ever been a situation where she's like, Sean, not today?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that dynamic, man.
Yeah, so to jump onto this before I dive in deeper. So I have Valor's mother, who's my previous wife, Kamiko, and then my current fiance is Charlene. So I've been fortunate enough to have two women who fully support how I work and how I operate, and they do a really good job of maintaining everything else and stuff like that. But with Kamiko, Valor's mom, oh man, especially when he was younger, right? It was a battle. She couldn't stand me. She felt I was being too tough on him. And that's her son, that's her baby. So it was one of those things. She had enough of it, and it was just a battle back and forth. And again, she didn't grow up obviously like I did and understand how sports. So again, she just a mama bear protecting her son, and she sees me yell at him or whatever it may be, and she wants to step in and stuff like that. So it was always a battle, but after a while she started to see how it was molding her son to become the young man that he is, the responsible man he is, and stuff like that. So she really took a step back, and now she's super supportive. And so for her role in this whole thing is she's very big on obviously his academics, and she does a really good job with his nutrition. So we focus a lot on that. She does a really good job with those two. But no, without both of the women in my life, it'd be tough because again, besides just being his father's coach and his trainer, again, I got 3 other kids, and then it's I run 2 businesses, and it's a million things going on. So I couldn't do it without them. So having them be the supporting cast members that I do have has made everything so much easier. I mean, initially it was tough because it was hard for both of them to understand why we're gone so long. And again, prior to moving, because we just relocated to Orange County, Valor and I were traveling from San Diego all the way to Corona to play for the Ducks. And so we're talking 2.5, 3 hours there and back 4 days a week. So it's it's made my life a whole lot easier.
That's the biggest thing. I remember watching this documentary on the Giants head coach, and his name escapes me right now, but his wife was talking about how she understood what she got herself into when she married this head coach, right? So for years, he was able to be a great head coach, do what he needed to do, finally broke through, won a Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things, but he couldn't do it without her. So I'll say this myself, I can't do this anyway. So I wanted to put that out there. And I also wanted to express to the 3.5 women that listen to this podcast that how important your role is.
Yeah.
Make this a lot harder than it has to be, or you can make it a lot easier for everyone involved simply by understanding that discipline and structure is a young man's friend. And it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely crucial. And again, the unfortunate thing is that there's a lot of young men that are raised by single mothers, and so there's only so much that these mothers can teach these young men. Like there's a lot of life lessons and principles that women don't really understand, and so that shapes young boys into certain ways where they are only getting one side of how things should be. So but yeah, a lot women that allow fathers to be that father figure, and again, having structure, having discipline, having a militant approach definitely will create a better formula for this child as they grow and mature.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, we could do a whole podcast on that subject alone.
Right.
We'll leave that there. I mean, it's part of the reason why I started the standard, because I see that happens, that a lot of these young men need guidance. And through football, it's a way that we can teach them some things without being too preachy. But they're still going to learn things that are going to make them great fathers, great men, all that other good stuff. So having you explain that part of it makes me love the process even more, because that's very important. So we're going to take a quick break right now. You're listening to Self Talk with Coach P. We got my man Sean Skills here with us today. We'll be right back.
The Standard is a youth mentorship program empowering young men ages 8 to 14 through athletics, personal growth, and structured guidance. Built on the values of discipline, teamwork, and integrity, the Standard connects sports with life lessons to help participants develop confidence, leadership, and strong character on and off the field.
You are listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. Real conversations with real accountability. Catch us every Monday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All right, and welcome back to Tough Talk with Coach P. Again, I'm your man, Coach P. I am here with the one and only Sean Scales, father to Valor Scales, one of the top kids in the nation. Back in my NSR days, this young man definitely would have been ranked top in the nation, and not just because I like him and his dad, right? But because he puts in the work off the field and he puts in the work on the field, and his stats back up everything that you want to know. I mean, the kid's just a good kid in every way. And the reason for that, or a big contributing factor to that, is the man that we have on the show here today, his dad, Sean Scales. So we're going to move on and talk about the football scene. I want to talk about why it is that you decided to move to Orange County and really make that commitment. But moreover, I want you to talk about why that's important. I always say, if my son was a brilliant piano player at 3 years old, I would put him in the best position to excel, right? Exactly. I would make sure he had the best piano classes. I would work 2 jobs if I had to pay for it. I would do all that. Why don't we do the same thing if our kids are athletically gifted? It's the same thing. No, we don't neglect the other sides of those things. But if you see something that they excel in, why not lean into it? So talk about some of the decision making, the football scene, and how it's different where you are now, and what contributed to you actually making the move.
Yeah, man, this was big, and this one, it like in a sense caused a lot of rift and cut a lot of ties with people who I had relationships with in San Diego prior to like my own decision. So prior to us going to the Ducks, so this is where it all, like before it all began with the Ducks, I was big on, hey, we live in San Diego, we're gonna play ball in San Diego, because essentially that's all I really knew youth wise and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do. But while in San Diego, I was coaching Valor's first team when we were with Eastlake. So we were with Eastlake, and we had a 7U squad, did really well. Valor was my youngest player as a 5-year-old. And again, my coaching style is very, very strict. It is very militant. It is very tough. It is disciplined. It is orchestrated. I coach to a certain standard, like you say. So I hold my players to a certain standard, and I hold my parents to the same extent. Yes. But the issue is, being in Eastlake, is that a lot of these parents they feel because they're affluent that we've accomplished enough, and I'm not expecting a coach to be loud and tough on my son. Oh, hey, I don't want the yelling. And mind you, I didn't curse, nothing of that nature, but I was very, very tough. And I would get, and so I remember getting contacted by the board at Eastlake. And again, I love the guys at Eastlake, President and them. And they told me like, hey, Sean, like, we just want to let you know you're an amazing coach. Like, they loved me. They wanted to keep me there. There's like, but we've gotten a couple complaints about parents just saying that you're real tough on the kids. And they was like, we've been all your practices and we love everything you do. Like, out of all my coaches, like, we love how you go. Like, we wish more of our coaches are that way. But these parents are complaining. And as they say, like, they said, and they told me that we didn't even want to have this conversation with you because we was like upset that the parents even said something. Y'all are not understanding what you guys have. You guys have one of how he's coaching your boys. You guys should be so appreciative for it. So it's one of those things where it was just like, man, they're too, again, once again, this soft culture. There's I told parents, and I let the parents know right from jump. Like, hey, I'm going to let you know my mantra and my whole motto with this whole thing when it comes to coaching kids is that although development is key, coaching and things like that is key, first, and the main objective is why I love the Buckeyes, because we believe in this, is that winning is the main objective here. We are here to win. Winning is fun because the parents would always say, this is supposed to be fun for the kids. Winning is fun. If you want to have fun, go up the streets of Legoland. Go to Disneyland. Do that. Hey, we are here to win because there's nothing fun about losing. I don't care. Yes, there are lessons that we can learn from them, but there's nothing fun about losing. We are here to win. That's what I'm teaching your boys how to do. We're here to win. And so a lot of parents, that rubbed them the wrong way because they feel like, oh, it should be about having fun first. This is not AYS soccer. Like, this is not what you signed up for.
Right.
And so that was like the first like little red flag. Like, I don't know. But so we were doing that, and that was our first season when Eastlake. We did really well. And then the in-between season, so right after all season, we were going to take our team from Eastlake and go to the San Diego Bulls. And so I got with Cooper and them, and they were all like happy to have us over. So we was going to start our first year with the Bolts team. But like prior to that, like literally maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before we really just start, things were going to get going, the OG Ducks had reached out to me because Valor started to get a little bit of a following and stuff like that. And the Ducks saw him. So they were like, hey, like, we know like you guys are pretty far, but we like the kid and stuff like that. Would you consider making a trip out? Right. But what did it for me is that the Ducks had their first tryout, like they had for the 6U squad. So he was going to play 6U tackle, and that was the other thing. Everybody like, why are you playing tackle so young? And he was only 5 at this time. So the Ducks reached out and like, hey, like, we want you to see, like, just bring him out to the workout so we can see how he is. So I bring out to the workout, and Valor just dominates. Just absolutely, he just takes over. Like, all the coaches from the Ducks, they blown away. And they're like, whatever we got to do to get him out here, like, we want him here. And so for me, the whole reason why I did that was just as a father, I wanted to see, like, it was a barometer test. Like, where does my son stand? Like, I know the Ducks, I know they're tough. I know that they produce great athletes and stuff like this. And it wasn't so much that my son was good in San Diego. I need to see, like, hey, if I put him with some other dogs, how is he going to be? Is he going to tuck his tail? Is he going to show up and stuff like that? And like I said, he probably was the best one at the workout. And it was just like, that for me was like, man, like, okay, I got something here. Like, so that happened. And then like that night, they were like hitting me up. Keefe, the president there, but they just contacted me like, hey, like, man, we got him. We need him, this and another. So I talked with his mom. And so we was like, okay, we're going to try it out. We're going to go out there and stuff like that. And so we did it. And so it was good in the sense of like, it was what I was looking for on giving my son the ability, like, to toughen him up. I felt like he needed that. And I felt like that was my issue with San Diego, is that I don't want to call people soft, but again, we were teaching kids to be soft. Like, we weren't putting our kids in competitive environments. We were putting our kids in friendly environments where it's like, hey, it's about just camaraderie and like, hey, just go out there to have fun, versus I'm trying to put my son in an environment where, hey, like, as one quote that I heard is that I'm raising my son to not be, I got to push him to get into the fight. I'm raising him where I got to pull him out of the fight. Yes. That's like what I'm trying to get him to, is that, hey, he loves this so much. He's hungry for it, to where it's like, hey, all right, I need you to calm down. And I felt like the Ducks helped get us there because he was the youngest out there. It was his first year in pass, so he learned a lot. And also I learned a lot as well, like how this whole thing works and stuff like that, especially with travel ball. And once I saw that and I saw how it was working with the Ducks, I was like, man, I could do this in San Diego. Yeah, I'm like, I can build this in San Diego. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't want to leave San Diego. And as I tell everybody, San Diego has so much talent. Like the kids are good. The issue with San Diego is that it's watered down because we have so many teams and so many people who are so quick to pick up their ball and leave if their son's not the starting quarterback here, or hey, he's not getting as many touches over here, so I'm gonna go start my own team over here. And it's like, dude, as I tell you, like that's a problem that Pop Warner in San Diego has 32 teams. San Diego's not big. It is not big at all. Why are there 32 teams in San Diego when it's like out here in Snoop League, the most competitive league, we only got 14 teams? Right. And it's like this, we're talking LA County. And so it's just like, so I'm like, so it shows you the level of competition.
But I'll say this too, just because I've been on the ground there in LA. I've been on the ground at the Snoop League games to see how competitive there are. It's a little bit more urban, right?
Definitely.
Than what we're used to. And I say that with all due respect, because what they're doing out there, I'm not a guy, and I'll be honest, I'm not a guy that's big on fussing at the kids and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But what they do is very effective. And also the environment that a lot of those kids come from, you just tell them to go stand in the corner ain't gonna work. When half of these kids is on the verge of following in the footsteps of their gangbanger uncle. So that you kind of have to match that energy to keep them involved. I've experienced, some of the same things at an organization that I was here with, and it was for the same reasons, where parents were saying, I think you're a little too tough on the kids. And I'm like, well, this is football. Like, I think people really need to understand that if you don't do this right, a kid could break his neck.
Yeah.
Like people need to understand that when you coach football at this level, you need to understand how to deal with these kids, how to coach these kids, how to relay the information to these kids. You need to understand that this is a tough game. And like you said, losing is not fun. You want to put in the work and stuff like that during the week so you can have fun in the game. The game is supposed to be fun, but getting your ass kicked is not fun. It's not fun
at all.
That. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I digress. But LA, right? So you want to come back to San Diego and build that hill, but you are met with what?
Yeah, so we finished our season with the Ducks, and like I said, the Ducks wanted us to come back, but at that point, I was already off the whole Ducks idea, because one, I didn't want to come back to San Diego, and I wanted to try something in San Diego. But also, while at the Ducks, again, I learned a lot about the Ducks organization, and as I tell everyone, because everyone just sees the Ducks online, and they like, oh man, they look like Oregon, and they look great, and the Ducks have unbelievable talent, like unbelievable talent. But as I tell everybody, the biggest thing though, because I wasn't a coach with the Ducks. I was like a volunteer coach, and I had to step into that role because of the coaching staff we had was not prepared and didn't do the things that they wanted to do. So it was like, for me, it's like, that's not what I said. I wanted to just come out here and just be a dad, but I got forced into it just because of the lack of coaching that was there. And as I always explain to everyone, because they said, why'd you leave the Ducks? Well, the reason why I left the Ducks was just because the Ducks inherit the best talent. Like, that's what it is. The Ducks are not developing the best talent. They are just so gifted that we got the best quarterback, we got the best receiver, the best running back, we got the best of the best, because these parents out there,
it kind of overwhelms you.
It's a lot. And then again, you got a lot of parents who know my kid is super good, so they barking down your neck and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where I'm like, man, like, I don't know if we're gonna keep doing this. And that's when I got introduced to the Buckeyes. And so, but again, I wasn't considering the Buckeyes yet, because my main objective was, man, let's build something in San Diego. And I'm like, I wanted to build a travel team that compiled the best talent in all age groups onto one team, and let's go compete with Los Angeles and everything. And that's what I wanted. So I'm like, okay, so I tell us to a couple of guys, I tell us to a couple of coaches, like, all right, cool. And I was having the biggest conversation with Van and them, and Van was on the board. And so again, it was like, we were trying to build some momentum, and it was just like, but once it got to the point, and this is where I say, like, I struggle with San Diego, is because I just got hit with parent after parent after parent saying, hey, like, we like the idea, but we are doing baseball right now. or we're doing basketball right now.
Right.
And we're not thinking about football. And so this is what I tell everybody. This is what separates, what I've noticed, this is what separates Los Angeles, Orange County from San Diego. And this is what it is. Minus the parents. Because the parents are all in. Like, that's the big one, is that the parents, and you go see the parents out here versus the parents in San Diego, night and day. Like, it's like, man, you got barking Rottweiler parents versus quiet Chihuahuas on this side. Like, the parents in San Diego just quiet. They keep to themselves. Out here, like, the parents are screaming. And as I said, and I tell people, I always tell people, like, the kids, the athletes, what a lot of people don't understand is that, and again, this goes back to my original combo about choices, and like, I didn't give out a choice. These kids out here, this is their only shot. Like, to them, they have the mindset already that this is what I do and I gotta make it. Because I got a mom who's taking care of me and my 5 brothers and sisters and this and the other. So all I know is football. I got older brothers and they bully. They just know football. They train. And so it's like, when football is, we running track. And we out here with development coaches. Like, I want my running back coach. I want my receiver. Like, we are football 12 months out of the year. That is what it is out here. Versus San Diego. San Diego's very big on, hey, like, we play sports by the season.
Right.
And when everyone out there in San Diego would say, hey, Valor's always doing football. And it's like, hey, this is what we do. We do football 12, because you have to understand, my son, especially at the quarterback position, like, he has to be preparing as a quarterback every day, all year long. That's what he does. Because if he takes 4 months off, with a lot of you guys who say your son's a quarterback, y'all want to take 4 months off because you want to go play basketball. Well, guess what my son's been doing for the past 4 months? For like last 16 weeks, he's been doing this. And so it's like, when it comes time to compete again, you farther behind. And that gap's going to keep widening. But yeah, so either way, so back in San Diego, everyone kept telling me like, because I'm telling them, like, hey, if we're going to do this, you have to understand, we're going to have to start football in January. Like, that's when it's going to start. It's going to have to start in January, where we are, whether we're getting in the sevens, we're preparing, we're training, this and the other. You guys got to commit to this. So come July, we're ready to go. And out there, everyone was just like, well, no, like, I want to give them some time off. We just did football, so I don't want them, like, I want to give them some time off and this and the other. Like, it was just a million excuses, a bunch of pushback. Like, we can't commit to that. We're doing this, we're doing that. We want to travel. And it was just like, all right, like, I'm getting more no's than I'm getting yes. So to me, it's like, I don't have time to like focus all this energy on here and not get to where the main objective is. And as I always said, what I was saying is that it would be a lot different if I wanted to do this and I didn't have my son in the game. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to do it. So I got time. If it's going to take me to 3-4 years to build this up, that's fine. Like, whatever it may be. But because my son is in this, I can't waste his years. Like, I cannot waste his time where we're just like, man, we're like, you're getting punched on, you're getting beat every single week because I'm trying to get us to build a travel team, but it's you and 12 kids that show up to practice for the whole year. Right. And so it's just like, that's what it was. And so I'm like, I couldn't, like, when I realized that like people were not going to commit to it, that's when I reached out to the Buckeyes, and then they was just like, man, like, come on. And it was just like a great thing ever since then.
I'll say for me, I think the way that I'm approaching this, it's like you and I are the same guy, bro. When I listen to you talk, you've said some of the same things that I've said, I've expressed to other people and other coaches, like, hey, we have all we need right here in San Diego, right? If we want to build powerhouse teams, we can do that. Now, I also agree with you that for Pop Warner to have as many teams as they have, it waters it down. Absolutely. Yeah. I also agree with you, the fact that these guys are so quick to say, well, you know what? I don't like the structure of this. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this. And it waters down the whole football product. It's one of the reasons why I believe football does not have a true national championship televised system, because A, it costs a lot of money. And then B, the leadership on the league wide does not really understand how to really make this thing pop, the business side of it. What will put butts in the stands? What will make people want to watch? And you have to give them a good football product. But the way you develop that good football product is, like you said, it's during the off season. It's making sure that these kids are playing football. And like you said, at home with the nutrition and all that other good stuff. And that's what I'm trying to provide. Now, the way that I'm going about doing it is through the mentorship program. So in essence, I'm going to find those kids that, hey, man, you know what? Football might be my way out. but we're going to also offer them other alternatives as well. STEM programs, law enforcement alternatives, life skills. We teaming up with a barber college. So those type of things. So you're going to get those type of experiences, and hopefully those fringe parents that are like, I don't know if I can commit to that. Maybe you'll commit to this part of it. So that's kind of the approach that I'm taking, because I really want to use this to help young men. But at the same time, I want to build a powerhouse organization here that does it right. And I believe it can be done. But I feel your frustrations, though. I definitely feel your frustration. I've been dealing with the frustrations of trying to do something in San Diego for 20 years, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because as I tell everyone, like, San Diego has so much. Because everyone asks, like, would I ever come back? And I always say, like, I can't do it for youth ball. Like, I can't come back for youth ball. High school ball, that's different. Because San Diego has, again, you got Cathedral, you got Lincoln. Like, San Diego can compete on a high school level. And it's just a testament is that they have these talented kids in youth. And so, but the problem is that, again, it's just so spread thin. And I realized it last year when I was coming back. Like, I went to the Q Bowls last year, and it was some of the most boring Q Bowls I'd ever seen. And I was saying to, like, my guys that was there, and I said it to a couple of the coaches. They were on, like, the both staff. And I said, like, my just view and assessment of this and why I feel it's a problem is that every game that I watched like 3 games. Like, I think I watched 8, 9, and 10. It was like whatever. But it was like every game that I watched, there were about 3 to 4 good kids per team.
Right.
That's what it was. It was 3 to 4 good kids per team, and then a bunch of just filler kids. And as I said, that's the problem, is that those 3 to 4 good kids on this team, then you got the 3 to 4 on the opposing team, and then you got 3 to 4 on the teams that lost in the previous round. They should all be on one team. Like, if you put all of those kids and you funnel all these kids into one team, now you have a competitive team that is going to play at a high level. They are getting better at practice because they're pushing each other every single day. They are not just the top dog on their team. They have to fight every single day. And that's why I love coming to the depths. That's why, exactly, Ernest, and that's why I said, that's what I love coming to the Buckeyes and coming to the depths, is that you have to understand, and the parents understand, is that if your kid is not the best, he's not going to play. And one of the biggest things that the Snoop League did this year is we don't have an NPR rule. Like, this is the first, like, Snoop League, everyone voted against it, and all of our parents know, and it's that simple as that. You're signing up for this understanding that if you're not putting in the effort and the hours on your own, getting them better, and he's not getting better at practice, there is nothing that says we have to play your son.
Well, let's think about this. In high school, you don't have an NPR rule.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. You
exactly.
You killed.
The best play.
What it is. You want play time, you need to be here on time. You want to get in the game, you need to fight in practice. I mean, it just is what it is. And I think, again, just from spending so much time in LA with NSR, man, we were in LA, man, for like 2 years. I was out there every weekend for like 2 years. So to see the difference, right? Mm-hmm. Their Q Bowls, right? I can put up footage of Q Bowls, 7U, 8U, 9U, that were like NFL games.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like the talent, the pressure, the tension.
Yeah, the atmosphere, everything.
8 in the morning. It's 600-700 people out there. You understand what I'm saying? It's
crazy.
But that's the environment that we can bring here. It takes guys to really want to make it happen. So I appreciate you sharing that, man, because I think sometimes, especially here, what I've learned, guys don't take constructive criticism well. If you say anything to them, you hate them.
Yep,
it's like,
exactly.
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I want what you want. But the only way we can do that is, like you said, we got to do it together.
Exactly.
One of the things that I propose, and man, I'm probably giving away the game, is really trying to get AYF back popping out here. Really try to get AYF back popping and all you need is about 8 programs to come back over. That way you can have games at home where you don't have to travel every week. But by only having 8, and you take away all those restrictions where you're stuck to, you have 8 organizations, you can recruit however you want to recruit all that, and then you put, and they form the best teams. And that's just how it goes. And then you partner up with a Snoop League so you can have out-of-conference games, and maybe you play 2 weeks up there. Something like that. to where you're playing the top teams. You understand what I'm saying? And guess what? Those teams have to come down here. So
Exactly.
it's like the 2 weeks, or you can have jamboree things where 1 week is here, the next week is up there. But I mean, if you do that and you take away the restrictions, that's how you get the live streamers involved. And then when you start getting those numbers up with the live streamers, then you can take these numbers. Look, man, we doing 10 million on live stream, man. What's up, ESPN? But that's how it works. And then we all eating, but we got to get on the same page. And football product has to be something that people will want to watch.
Yeah, no, we are on the same wavelength, because that's exactly, so that's what I was going to do. Because like I said, that was my approach with when I was saying I was trying to build something in San Diego. I told the guys, and they was like, so who are we going to play? Because we knew AYF was shutting down and we knew Pop Warner. I was like, hey, I'm not going Pop Warner. I already established a relationship with Snoop. I was like, I'm going to tell Snoop, hey, we are going to start a San Diego chapter, and we want to be a part of the Snoop League. Snoop League wants a San Diego chapter. So it's like Snoop League would have accepted us, and I was going to tell Snoop, hey, we only won 3 games in LA. Our other 5 need to be in San Diego. There's a lot more teams in LA. They can drive down for a weekend to play in San Diego. We'll travel to LA 3 times, like whatever it may be. And so that was like going to be my approach, is that, hey, I wanted to put a San Diego team inside of Snoop League. And then that was the other thing. Parents were like, I don't want to drive to LA, even if it's 3 times. And it's just like, okay, man. So it's like, there was just no win. It was just like, no matter what I said, they were against it. And it was just, it was just a lost cause. But again, that's what like pushed me out to like, hey, like based off what I'm trying to accomplish, and especially for my son, I had to make the decision to relocate to Orange County, because I knew like this is just where it's going to be the end all for us. But also at the same time, but like you said, building, like I look at these games out here in LA, like all of our games are always, they're streamed on YouTube, they're streamed on something. Like you watch these Ducks and you watch, like we have every big media platform, everyone with a social media page, City Celebs and AJ, like they're at all of our games every single week. And it's just like, just so much attention to like our programs, like where everyone knows who we are, where we go, like people know, like we wear a Buckeye logo, everyone knows who we are. And it's like San Diego does not get that same attention. And it's because they are not doing anything to like drive that in. And it's just like, and so this also goes back to like my whole thing with Valerie and like his social media. I remember when I first, a lot of people think like his social media just like took off overnight. It's like, man, I've been doing this social media for like 5 years now. Like just constantly posting, like it did not just blow up overnight. Like now he like based on what we did, like now we have crazy momentum. Like, yes, we post something and it blows up all the time now. But when I first started with his social media, I got so much backlash and so much hate, and man, why you always posting him and this, that, and other, like you, like it was just going on. Like people just had something negative to say about it all the time. Why are you posting this, that, and other? And now fast forward to where we are today, the same people, whether they are doing it without asking me how to do it, or they are asking like, man, what should I do? What should I post? And it's like, you're the same ones that like didn't even care to like a post back then. Now you want me to add, like tell you how to do this so you can do the same for your son. And it's just like things like that. And so, but yeah, back then with San Diego, like I was trying to build a social media brand, and it was just like, cause I was trying to like get attention, like get as much attention in San Diego as possible. And it's just like no love was coming from San Diego. And I say that's like my closest friends all the time. Like the most love and support Valor gets is from Los Angeles and Orange County. Like they love Valor out here. They support us and this and other. And it's like the same love is like, it is non-existent from San Diego. And it's like, dude, like this was our hometown. And it's just like, and so it's like, okay, like, hey, like this is what we're going to do. And so, but yeah, that was like the biggest thing.
I definitely feel you. It was, again, same thing when we did NSR. We went to LA and they accepted us day one with open arms. This was before we had a following or anything like that. We came out there with a camera and we had the badges. Man, what do you need? Go on the field. They want to bring as much exposure to the kids and to the league as possible because that's what's best for them. Whereas here in San Diego, I mean, and this is when we were at our height, like we were huge. I would go to games in San Diego and they would be, and I'm here. My son, you know, he won a silver pigskin. It's me. Oh man, you can't get on the field. You got to have I mean, we were met with those type of things. So the approach that I'm kind of taking now is instead of coming at these guys like partnering up and all that other good stuff. And this is no disrespect to anybody. I love what all these guys are trying to do. I really love what the Bolts are doing. I love their coaching staff. I love what they're trying to do. To me, in San Diego, I don't think they have the talent that I think they would like, but they so well coached that they might win a national championship in Pop Warner this year. So I like what they're doing. Outside of that, in San Diego, man, I don't want to team up with nobody. For me, people say what can't be done.
Yeah.
Well, I can show you better than I can tell you.
All right.
And attaching that thing like you and I talked about from all different types of angles, the mentor standpoint, dealing with the school board, dealing with the San Diego PD. So we're going to try to build something and do something different to where the powers that be, because there's like an old guard here in San Diego that's been kind of running things for a long time. And whether it's running to the ground or not, it's still the same people. So it's one of those situations where someone can't be toppled, where it's such a value to the city that you're going to have to mess with it. So I'm working day and night to make that thing happen. And if I'm being honest, a lot of the stuff that I see you do is the inspiration to it. So I really wanted to have you on and talk about that because you're doing it the right way. Even in talking to you casually, you know, I did make them do it. And now this is the fruit. And I think a lot of people need to understand that every now and then you have to set the structure and what your household is going to be. And you have to trust that it's the right thing. And look, this thing bear fruit. 7 years old, right?
Yeah, in your age.
Bear fruit. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying to all the dads out there that's getting kicked back or believe in it. Structure and discipline is the way to go. Period.
Yeah, and it's crazy, like how you mentioned that, just to tap in, like, so again, just to keep piggyback on that. So yeah, don't give these kids a choice. Like, hey, like, you know, you as the parent, you know what's best for your child. Like, hey, you know what's to go have them do that. Like, do that. They gonna eventually, like, whether they hate it initially, they're gonna give you the pushback, but at some point it's gonna click and they are gonna appreciate it and they're gonna run with it. So it's like but parents have to be all in on that. But the other thing is that, like, there's when, like, doing what I do, and then again, it puts me in relationships to guys like you, fathers like yourself, who already gone through it or whatever it may be. But also, like, now I have all these relationships out here, and I talk with other dads who have the same mindset and the same mantra and the same belief. And it's like, it's crazy. All of us who receive so much backlash for how we raised our kids and the things that we did, it's so crazy to see that our sons are the top performing sons. Like, that's the big part. It's just like, we take so much. So, like, prime example is, like, one of my really good friends is Darren Tubbs, who's the father of DJ Tubbs at St. John Bosco. And it's like, Tubbs he tells me all the time, he was like, everything that I'm doing with Valor, he was like, man, like, I went through the same thing with DJ. And he was like, and people gave me so much hate. He was like, I lost friendships and stuff like that because people thought I was too tough on DJ and this, that, and the other. And now DJ is #1 wide receiver in the country as a sophomore. And he was like, those same people coming back, hey, can I get tickets to nephew game? What's up? And it's like, man, you were the same one, like, just like shooting down every dream that I had. And this, and it's just like, but yeah, like, I always look at it like, nah, because I always wonder, like, am I too tough or this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, I know what I see in my son in the future and the end goal, but it's just like, I look at everyone who already ahead of me and they've gone through this blueprint, and it's like, and it's working for them. So it's like, it always leads me to believe that, hey, I'm on the right path. I got the right mindset, and it's like, it's going to pay off. And so I've learned really quickly just to X out all that extra stuff, but it's crazy. And so this is to go back to, like, the whole daddy balling thing, like you had with your previous conversation. And so a lot of people are upset about daddy balling. Yes, daddy ball is a real thing, and it definitely, there's guys who go about it the wrong way. But what a lot of people don't understand is that daddy ball does have to exist because, again, a lot of times the only coaches are dads. And so it's like, hey, like, again, this is a volunteer, like, role to do. And so it's like, majority of the time, the coach on the team is a dad of the star athlete. And it's just like, but it's not just because, and there are some dads who have to realize that your son is not as good and you trying to force him into this role. Right. But a lot of times, the dad who steps up and his kid is the best player on the team is because that dad is putting in tons of hours with his son outside of practice. And it's not just at practice and things like that.
I got to say this, right? That is not daddy ball. I mean, that's that good coach that has a magnificent son. There is a difference between that and daddy ball, because usually the daddy baller guys, they got an athletic son. Usually that athletic son got the worst attitude on the field.
Yeah.
He the one that be loafing in practice and all that other good stuff. Daddy don't really know how to coach. There's no structure on the team. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I 100.
Where in a situation like with you, where you're coaching and your son is doing the things, the way he moves, the way he works, I'm sure the thing about having a kid like that, and this is what I learned back in the day when, my son was playing, and I did not want to fall into that trap of daddy ball. Like, man, I don't want to give him all the carries. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it got to the point because he worked so hard. We were always on time. I held him to the standard. He held up the standard. That if you want to win, put Boopy in. And the parents, they didn't care, man. Give him that. What? We
exactly.
Give him 30 carries. We don't care. But that was the difference. So they realized that it wasn't daddy ball. We had a standard, and he was the best player because of that standard. And if you mess with me, I'm gonna get your kids up there too, and we're gonna win a lot of games and have a lot of fun. So that's not daddy ball.
No, I'm right. Yeah, so I'm with, and that's what I would say. Like for me, like I didn't want, so like I'm on the coaching staff for Valor this year. I didn't want to coach. That was the other thing. Is that like for me, I try my best now to like be as hands off as possible. So I have one with a bunch of different coaches. Like I'm at this point now, and I'm fortunate to afford it or whatever it may be. But he has different coaches for different things now versus me trying to do all of it. Right. Because I wanted to like not so much wear him down, and it's constantly dad's yelling at me because I did this and I did that. So I learned to like, hey, all right, if we're gonna do speed, I'm gonna find the best speed coach and I'm gonna send you to him. As your quarterback training, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna send you to them, and then whatever. So he has different coaches for different things, but obviously we still train together, and he trains with me more than anything. But it's a lot more of like I try to like give him this, let a little bit of a leash go. And so again, I didn't want to coach. I wasn't planning on coaching this year, but it was one of those things that Les had reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, like I want to get you on staff." He was like, "Hey," because I didn't even ask nothing. Like I was just cool. I'm gonna just sit back and be a dad this year, take photos and stuff like that. But he reached out to me, gave me a call, and he was like, "Hey, so I want to bring you on," and he was like, "I want to let you know, like." You'll be the first dad coach that we've had on this, like on all my national teams. Like I've never had a dad coach on the team. He was like, just something that I'm not for. And he was like, so you will be the first one, but I'm gonna let you know you can't coach Valor. He was like, that's just what it is. So like, so one thing that you can't do is you can't be his coach. That's totally fine. So I deal with running backs and receivers. So he has like Wes is his quarterback coach and his OC. So he deals with him, and obviously I'll chime in. But again, that's the thing is that I don't coach him. But it was just so, and that's the primary, like for Les, he was like, cause I don't want no daddy balling. And so there's one thing I loved about that, but also with the Ducks, the one thing that the Ducks does do is that none of the coaches can have a son on offense. And that's another way to eliminate daddy ball. And so that's a good thing. So it's like, so if your son is the starter quarterback, you cannot coach offense. Like if your son's a starter running back, you cannot coach offense. Like whatever it may be. So that way it can help eliminate the daddy balling in a sense. And I feel like San Diego should start to incorporate that because I know a lot of players, like a lot of coaches, a lot of my friends, their sons are a star running back or star quarterback out there. And I don't think they do it too bad, but at some point, it's going to get there, and you don't want to deal with that backlash from parents feeling like, hey, you daddy balling that and other. So I do like that out here. Again, I don't know how other programs run, but I know like for the Ducks and as well as for the Buckeyes, yeah, like if your son has a specific role in this offense, you can't coach offense. Like you got to be on the other side of the ball. And so, and let's say he did that because initially he was the OC for Noah Fafito over at Arizona. He was like, I was the OC, and I was just tough on Noah. He was like, I was wearing him down, like yelling, screaming. He was like, it just wasn't good. And they were just like, it's one of those things, like, I realized I had to step out. So he's like, that's why I brought Wes on, and I just went to defense. So he's like, that's it. And he's like, and it's worked ever since. And so he was like, I just try to keep that.
Man, and shout out Coach Les. He been doing this thing for a long time. Really good guy. And you found a really good home. Shout out Keith.
Yeah.
They do it right with the Ducks, nationally known. They can go anywhere. Both you guys and the Ducks can go anywhere in this nation, and people are going to know who you guys are. So that just says a lot about the program. And it says a lot about the culture in that league, right? And there's and throughout the years there's been turnover and that type of stuff, but the major players are still the major players, and they've put a lot of kids into major high schools and in college, in the pros, and all that other good stuff that have come out of both of those programs. So I mean, in closing, I would love to bring something like that here to San Diego, and you and I, we gonna talk offline. A lot of stuff has kind of been sparked in this conversation that's piqued my interest that maybe we do need to bring something different to San Diego. Maybe we need to revisit that Snoop League thing in San Diego. I think right now there's enough teams that I believe are looking for something different here in San Diego after being with Pop Warner for a year. And it's no disrespect to Pop Warner. I think they do a good job of maintaining order, which I love about Pop Warner. The rules are the goddamn rules. You understand what I'm saying? And that's it. And I love that. Some of the rules are a little bit counterproductive to good football, but that's okay. And I think that they have so many teams, like you said, it's just a watered down system. And I think it's all about timing too. That's what I learned. And you know this in business and anything else. It's about timing too. And the timing could be right now. So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So what can we expect from you guys in the future?
Yeah. So, just to wrap it all up, obviously run your race. That's the biggest thing, is that you guys, like, as a parent, whether you're dad or mom, whatever it may be, you know your child the best. And so for me, I always really just focus on, like, what is the end goal? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? Where do we want to be when this is all said and done? And obviously for me, myself, and Valor, we want to go to the pros. That's the thing. Like, it is not, I don't feel people should be okay with, like, I want my son to just get better and, like, enjoy the game of football. Yeah, like, I want the same too for my son, but also I want to get to the NFL. I'm not doing this so we can just, hey, like, we had a great high school career. Like, no, we're shooting past this. And that's just the biggest thing. And so for me, it's always trying to figure out whatever it has to do to make sure my son has a competitive edge. So, like, making sure whatever I can do to enhance his game, to make him a stronger athlete, to make him a better athlete, and also to make him a better man. There's a lot of little things that I would do with my son that a lot of people, again, that's not on the football field doing training. And this is just how I expect from him. When he walks in a room, you shake everyone's hand. When we go to every camp, any football camp we go to, any workout, you go to every coach. Good morning, coach, shake his hand, things like this. Every practice you go shake every coach's hand. Anytime a coach is talking, you are looking him dead in his eyes. So it's a lot of things. I focus on his body language. Hey, something bad happens, I don't ever want to see you slumping his shoulders. Fix your attitude. So it's like a lot of those things, especially for Valor, because he's a quarterback. I try to instill in him, like, you have to understand the eyes are always on you. No matter what's going on, everyone's watching what you do. So if we're winning, hey, you're going to get all the praise. Everyone's going to scream your name and this and another. But the second we lose or something goes bad, you are going to get all the blame. And you have to be ready for it. You have to be able to mentally prepare for it. And you have to be able to tone it out. And so it's just a lot of things that I'm instilling in him now. Again, side of the game of football, but just as, like, help mentally prepare him to be strong enough to understand what's coming ahead of him. And it's something that is a blessing and a curse that's going on with this whole social media thing, and we live in this NIL deal. And so that's the other thing, like you said, with us. For me, as I tell everybody, my biggest thing right now is that he's going to receive the highest NIL deal when he gets to high school. That's, like, what I'm focused on, is that he will be a Nike athlete by the time he gets to high school. So whatever I got to do to make that happen is what's going to happen. And so we get tons and tons of, like, brands that reach out to us who want to do collaborations, who sends us free things all the time. So we get a lot of that stuff. But also, like, it's tough because, and I don't let Valor engage in any of his social media. He has no access to his social media. I manage all of that, and I'm always going to manage it. Like, maybe when he's a little older, maybe I can let him access into it, but into limited space. I'm also trying to prepare him that even though you're getting love and things like that, you're getting twice as much hate. And anytime you step on the field, you have to understand someone is going to try to make their name off your name. So there's always going to be a target on your back. So you have to make sure that you always show up ready to play. You're prepared to play, and understand that the second someone can, like, people may play dirty, but you have to keep your composure. Don't get out of your character, play your game, do what you're supposed to, win, and things like that.
And win on the field. Yeah,
exactly.
Let
go
your
win.
play speak for you. That the play is going to speak louder than anything you could ever do.
Exactly. Yeah. So go do and as I tell them, we do this 100 times a day. So when we come on Saturday or Sunday to play, this is a walk in the park. You ain't seen nothing you haven't seen all week long. This is what you're like. This is what you're built for. Go handle what you're supposed to do. And so yeah, we're just gonna keep building on it and just taking it from there.
You had touched on something, but this has been a good conversation, but you had touched on something before about setting goals. I want you to talk a little bit about how important that is, because you talked about, look, man, we trying to make it to the NFL. And I think people get intimidated by dreaming big. They think because they weren't able to do it that you shouldn't be able to do it. And I just want you to touch on that a little bit, how important it is to set clear goals and then go get it.
Yeah. Like, no, it's big. Like, manifestation is key and things like that. But, like, having these big goals, something so far, so out of your reach, just makes it all, like, it creates that will within you. It creates your why. Like, okay, this is why I'm trying to do it. I'm not content with just being the best youth football player. I'm not content being the best. Like again, the goal is to shoot for the stars. Like, hey, we want to make it to the NFL. That is like I don't even want to make it to the NFL. We want to be top 5. That's what the goal is. Like, hey, we want to be top 5. I want you to win the Heisman as a freshman. Like, these are the goals that I have for him right now. He don't even know it. He just know, like, hey, you ask him, hey, what do you want to do? I want to go to Ohio State and I want to go play for the Chargers. And for me right now, that's fine. We'll get more specific with him as he ages. But like right now, I already have it mapped out. Like, hey, you going to win the Elite 11 in high school. I want you to win the Elite 11 twice. I want you, when we get to college, I want you to be the first player, if it doesn't happen, to win the Heisman twice. Like, hey, and then once this is done, you are going to be a top 5 pick. And that my job as his father is to do whatever it is, whatever is necessary to make sure all these things get checked off. So it ain't just his goal, it is also mine. Like, hey, like, yo, and people will say, well, you living vicariously through your son. If that's how y'all want to look at it, be my guest. But again, like I said, my son is 8. He don't know what he's living as right now. So I have to teach this and instill this into him now. So that way it becomes part of him. It becomes who he is as in his identity. This is what and it's not for, oh, I'm doing this because my dad is making me do it. I'm doing this because I see what like comes from it. I see like the hard work that I put in. This will be my reward. This is what I want. And so that's like the thing. And so it's like, yeah, have these big goals, but also be specific with them. Like I said, like, I want you to win the Elite 11. I want you to win the Heisman twice. I don't want you to just go to, because a lot of people say, like, oh, like, if my son just goes D1 and gets a scholarship, I'm happy. Yes, and I'm happy for your son as well. But that's not what we're signing up for. We're not here to just get a D1 scholarship. We're here to go win a national championship as a D and win the Heisman while we're at it. Like, we added on top of every single one of these things. And so that's the big thing with that for me.
I love it. I tell all the kids that I train, the first thing that you have to do in order to do anything, like say we're doing box jumps or something, the first thing you have to do in order to achieve this is believe you can do it. Yeah. That's the first thing. Without the belief, you'll never be able to do it. But if you believe that you can do it, that's the first step. The rest of it will take care of itself. Now you have to start walking towards that. You have to start training like you believe. You have to start working like you believe. You have to start eating like you believe, talking like you believe. And then next thing you know, it's here. That's how it works. So I'll say from one father to another, one lover of San Diego football to another, I appreciate you coming on, spending some time. Keep doing what you're doing with Valor. He's an amazing kid. He's an amazing football player, but he's a better young man. You should be proud. Mom should be proud. Extended mom should be proud. Brothers and sisters should be proud. And for real, you're doing an amazing job on him. To all the haters out there, y'all know what y'all can do. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to speak life into you right now, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Forget what the haters is talking about, man. Keep blazing the trail. Keep doing the things that others wish that they could do. And that's what that is, man. Don't, and you don't need me to tell you this, but don't let nobody's limitations on themselves ever be your limitations. And I know that's what you're teaching your son, man. So I just wanted to again, speak that life into you, brother. And if there's anything that I could do to help your cause, it's a phone call away. I appreciate your time. And thanks again for being part of Tough Talk with Coach P, my brother.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And I wish you tons of success with this, as well as with what you're trying to do in San Diego and everything else that you got your hands on.
That's what's up. The love and support, though. I appreciate that. We'll continue to tap in with each other, on and off. And again, let's keep this thing going. I'll be in touch, but I appreciate you coming on.
All right, thanks a lot, boss.
The Standard is a youth mentorship program empowering young men ages 8 to 14 through athletics, personal growth, and structured guidance. Built on the values of discipline, teamwork, and integrity, The Standard connects sports with life lessons to help participants develop confidence, leadership, and strong character on and off the field.
You are listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. Real conversations with real accountability. Catch us every Monday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And welcome back to Tough Talk with Coach P. Man, we had a great one. We had a great one today. Legacy over ego, the flip side of daddy ball. Legacy over ego, the flip side of daddy ball. My guy Sean is really thinking about legacy over ego. Legacy over ego, setting clear goals, setting clear achievable goals, setting milestones. Once you accomplish one milestone, now it's on to the next one. Having the proper systems in place. That means we have a regimen. That means we're eating right. That means there's no time for the BS. Everybody's on board. Mom's on board. Let's talk about that. How do we get mom on board? We get mom on board when dad is organized, when dad does what he says he's going to do, when dad shows up on time, when dad drops him off on time, etc., etc., etc. Then you can build that trust. So of course it takes a village as well. But you as a coach, you as the flip sider to that daddy baller, you as the guy seeking legacy also have to walk the walk and hold yourself to a high standard as well. That's how this works. And my guy Sean does that. So thank you so much, Mr. Scales. Thank you so much, Valor. Keep up the good work, man. You all right with me? And you've been listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. I am your man, Coach P. I'm out.
Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. Shout out all the coaches. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump. I'm a product of his coaching. Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. Shout out all the coaches. Yeah. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump. I'm a product of his coaching. Gotta give it up for Coach.